Executive Finance Committee meeting to order. Councilor Cobb, would you do our invocation for this?
Heavenly Father, we come to you and ask for your guidance in everything we do today, not only with the Cherokee Nation, but the United States of America. Please watch over all the military and their families around the world, and we appreciate your guidance extremely. Thank you. Amen.
Roll call, please.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Tara Callan Watts.
Aye.
Bill England.
Here.
Bill John Baker.
Here.
Harley Buzzer.
Here.
Julia Coates. Here. Bradley Cobb. Joe Crittenden.
Here. I'm sorry.
Jody Fishinghop. Here. Meredith Braley. Here. Janelle Fulbright. Don Garvin. Chuck Hoskin Jr.
Here.
Anna Gloria Jordan. Curtis Snell.
Here.
Chris Soap.
Here.
David Thornton.
Thank you.
You have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. I would entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes of the September 8th through the 10th budget hearings. For all 4 items. Okay, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next are our reports, our financials and treasurer's report. Ms. Cantor.
Good afternoon. I've got a very lengthy report for you. I apologize. It's going to probably take a couple hours. If you have any questions, let me know. You have my written report. If you have some questions, I'll try to answer them or get back with you.
Are there any questions for Ms. Cantor? Thanks very much.
Thank you.
And by the way, I do appreciate everyone staying over for our meeting since the previous chair read over those letters. Okay. Next is Cherokee Nation Businesses. Mr. Stewart.
Try to keep mine to 3 minutes, right?
I like that.
That's good. Okay, we look at C&E. We're about 10% over last year. We see everything holding and seeing somewhat of an increase, but not substantial. The budget is complete for all of the companies, and with regard to C&E, most of our increase is expected due to higher occupancy of the hotel, the road construction being completed, and that's on track, I think, for prior to year end, hopefully by Thanksgiving. So that's going to be a great improvement, especially when we have all these events. It gets kind of complicated. And then opening of the joint, so far that's been a great success. We're continuing to look at it, how it affects the bottom line, and so far it's all positive. 2 or 3 projects that we have in process. Of course, we're looking at Ramona to build a bigger facility there, and that's under design. Possibility of looking at Fort Gibson as an expanded property. And then we have the air quality project going on at Catoosa and Hard Rock to upgrade all of the air quality systems and everything but the new casino. All of the others are getting a little bit old, so the board has approved, I think it's about $7 or $8 million for us to upgrade all those air units. So that's going to provide a great improvement for that property. So with regard to C&E, does anyone have any questions about C&E operations or activity?
Yes, Councilor Fishingham.
What is Casino 3 remodel?
Casino 3 remodel, the numbering system is Hard Rock is 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So 3 is the original metal building that you built. That's right, back in 94 or so. And so that property, that piece of the property really doesn't match the rest of it. You know, it's older, and it's over the years it's just had electrical wires and conduit. I mean, it's just a kind of a mess up there. So basically this is to upgrade it and clean it up, new carpet, new 2-inch flooring so we can put the games without poles sticking up, a new poker room, and then a revised food offering. So there's going to be a food court. We're just basically updating it.
It is not aged as good as Buell.
It's what?
Not aged as good as Buell.
You don't mind if I
I'm
just,
teasing you, Buell.
if I don't comment on that?
Any other questions on C&E? Okay, continue.
Okay, with regard to C and B, overall, the companies are complete with their budgets, and we will get you details of that, Counselor, on that you requested. The process is working very well with our industry teams and the board members getting involved. We're seeing nothing but great success, especially with the IT company. The backlog, I think, is upwards now of 50 or 60 million. It's just been very well received by the government, a good management team, and it's going very well. The board did approve or authorize the executive committee to purchase a company in the medical field. We will get you the details of that before it's made public due to some confidentiality agreements we can't really talk about here, but we will let you know before the public knows, and that will probably be Monday morning or Monday afternoon. With regard to C&I, their profits are still positive, which is good. We're spending a lot of our time at C&B implementing common financial reporting software and platforms, getting the shared services, all the HR policies consistent. And some of the newer companies, when we buy them, we put them on the financial system right away. But C&I, it's a little more complicated. They're a little more sophisticated in the business that they do with manufacturing, so it's taking longer. But that's what we're focused on, implementing a more aggressive sales strategy at C&I so that we can boost the bottom line and make more money next year. So it's all going very well. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to address those.
Any questions, Mr. Stewart? Yes,
I
Councilor
have a
Fisher.
question. At the CNI picnic, a bunch of the employees asked me, Stuart, about their bonus. They said if they had gotten within so much percent, they just needed 2 or 3 more percent, they was going to get their bonus. Did they reach it?
Yes, they did.
So the employees are actually going to get a small
They're
bonus?
going to get a bonus.
Thank you very much.
So far, and that's the books as they close.
So far.
So we have to close them, and it would be, I think the audit date's a couple of months before it's paid, but it does show that they have turned it around, and so they will get a bonus.
Stuart, you are the kind, let me tell you.
Well,
Because they have not had a bonus.
I know.
And whatever, and now that y'all have took it over, it is,
well, they've done well. They've made money. I mean, their bottom line is a little over $2 million, which is fantastic. So
Thank
they're
you.
doing a good job. They'll probably win.
Any other questions for Mr. Stewart?
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Next, Career Services. John O'Breaker.
Diane couldn't be here today, so if you guys have any questions, do what? Yeah. Wait till next month, she'll be here. No, I'm just kidding.
The report is in your packet. So are there any questions for John? There's detailed information on the Cherokee Work Program. Councilor Fisher.
John, which one are you answering questions on first? For Diane?
Well, if you have a question that I can't answer, I'll write it down and she can respond to you.
Okay, on the day work program, I asked for the paperwork and the policies and procedures on it, and they're quite extensive. And the reason I ask is I'm having a lot of complaints from people. Here's my problem. Around our counties, Delaware, Adair, part of Sequoia, I'm sure, we have people, I have men that are 50 years old that are coming to us for day work programs. Well, these are people, and there's a very large amount of them that have never finished past 6th grade because they quit school to catch chickens, to cut ties for the railroad, or what have you, to keep their families. They're going in here to go on the day work program, and they're getting told, do you have a GED? No, I don't. Well, that's considered a barrier to employment, so that they say you can't continue that, but we're going to send you to our GED classes and career services to get your GED. These are 55-year-old people. They're not going to go sit there in front of one of our teachers when they've got, when they test out at first, second grade, we haven't even got materials that are that low, I have found out, to teach them, to raise them in grade level so they can get their GED. So they're getting pushed to the side. They're only allowed to work so long and we can only help them so much. But you can't tell a 55-year-old grown man that's supporting a family trying to get work, oh, you gotta go get your GED, because he's not gonna sit there. They need money, they don't need to sit there in class. So I would like to see what Diane and them think about the barriers of entry and the GED, because one of the requirements is they have to be employable. So in the little section where y'all got the barriers, it makes them unemployable because of the GED. The other request is for a driver's license. I have since found out if you do not have a driver's license, we won't put you in the day work program. Why?
I don't know. I mean, but I will get answers to all these for the GED, the employable employee, and the driver's license. And they should be able to respond to this within probably about tomorrow afternoon. I think I have some information, but I don't think it covers what you're wanting on that part. So.
Yeah, because are we letting them drive government vehicles? Is that why they're having to go drive?
No, I don't think so. And it may be something different. And again, I'll get with Diane and Jeff Vance, and I think Stephanie Isaacs is in charge right now while Diane's out. And she will answer these two as well.
And then I heard that we are starting a program, I guess, or starting something where we're giving people school. Is it defensive driving school? Is it like to get your driver's license back because of a DUI or what? I'm curious as to what this new program about driver's ed is.
Okay, the driver's ed program. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll have them give information for that too.
I didn't know if it was for the young kids.
I don't think it's for the young kid. I think it's for people trying to get their licenses back that have lost their licenses and different things.
Like a DUI, we're
Yes.
helping them get there.
Yes, but I will make sure that's the information that's for
Okay,
that.
thank you.
Counselor Callan Watts.
Thank you. So after reading the report, the concern I had, the question was, if the reason there wasn't a lot of day work workers in Rogers County was because there's not enough work sites. And if there's not enough work sites, what is the plan to increase the number of work sites so that either my folks aren't having to travel to Tahlequah or only certain communities get the bulk of the day work money? Because I still have people that need those programs. And it seems like they're just limited by our choices or barriers we create by not having adequate work sites in Rogers County and some of the other communities that I'd like to go on record that I know it would be difficult if you were an older person in going back to school, especially if you were not given opportunity at a very young age or lower level. But I always try to make decisions that if the tribe didn't exist tomorrow, did we do justice to our citizens? And I think we should lean towards the side where we always encourage our citizens to obtain the adequate certification and educational level that they need to get a job in any environment if the tribe didn't exist and didn't have these jobs. Although we could provide them with exceptions to get employment, I would be concerned that we would just carte blanche do that just because of age issues, because I think we would be shortchanging them. Thank
Okay.
you.
And for that, we have jobs that are coming open in Catoosa with the construction projects. So if you guys know any construction people in that area, it's always harder for us to find someone in this area to travel the 1 hour up to Catoosa. So please have them call the Terrell office, and we'll actually find them employment up there in the construction site if they need that as well.
I'm specifically talking about the day work
Yes,
program.
I
not
know.
tribal
I'm
folks.
just-
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Hoskin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate what Councilman Count Watts raised about day work opportunities. Got to have that same concern, and I think I've talked to Ms. Kelly about this before, but just to reiterate it, I had thought it might be a good idea if folks in my area, maybe Councilor Count Watts' area and other areas, could work maybe at the community organizations doing some work. And I understand one concern was we don't have on-site supervisors there because they're community buildings, but I hope we take a hard look at assigning some supervisors. If a community organization said we're going to have a cleanup day, we're going to have a work day, we're going to repair this building, then let's take advantage of the day work program, and if it means sending a supervisor up there so we can meet that requirement, then let's do that. I hope we take a hard look at that, because I know in my area there's at least one community organization that would do that if they felt confident that if they called down they could get a day worker up there, somebody in the community. So I hope we keep looking at that too.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Are there any other questions for John? Okay.
Can I say one more thing before I go? The Terrell Vendor Fair and Small Business SBAC Vendor Fair is November 9th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and the dinner is that night, starts at 6 o'clock. There is a reception that begins at 5. And I don't think everyone who's coming has RSVP to Tammy, and her extension is 5430. So if you're coming, would you please RSVP to her?
Well, so just for logistics, you should email us.
Yeah.
I think we've sent you the invitation, but I'll have her email you first thing in the morning to remind everyone. And so,
I suggest you send it through Gail, and Gail.
yeah, we will. We'll send it through Gail, so it'll make sure. But I just wanted to remind you guys too, and we will follow up with you.
John went last year. I just want you to know I'm going.
Just was, you know, that she is.
Yeah, put me down.
Okay.
Councilor Buzzard?
Yeah, and I had a question, John. I know our Rice Wooded Road project is finishing up, and I think APAC had that particular project. And I understand APAC had another project, I'm not sure where it is. But how is that company working with the job bank? Are we actually putting people out there on the jobs for those companies?
Yeah, actually I had a meeting with APAC Tuesday morning with their vice president of their company, and we have 7 Cherokees that are going to work on the Honey Hill Road over there. So as soon as the jobs come up, they're going to take them on. We're sending them through an employment agency in Sallisaw, and I can't think of the name, but they're actually going to go through that to be hired with the company.
And I have a follow-up. And when you go through the employment agency in Sallisaw, do they get a commission on sending those people over there?
As far as permission from
That person at work, you said you're going to send them to...
yeah, we direct them down there.
Okay, but I'm wondering if that agency that sends those people out on the job site, do they get a commission off of that?
I think they
Like
charge
a
the
temporary
actual,
service.
yeah, they'll charge APAC like a temporary service.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions for John? Okay, thanks very much. Next is Commerce and Anaya.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You have a copy of my report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Ann?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I've got a question, and I'm just curious about charged-off loans, and do we make an effort to go back and try to recover some of those dollars? And the reason I bring this up is some of our housing type of people, you know, we had foreclosures, but I see some of these are on charged-off loans. Do we have to go back and try to collect those loans?
We do. We exhaust all of our collection and collateral before we charge them off. And we do still keep track of them, and we continue to make contact with them approximately once a year unless they were a bankruptcy. And I will say the charge-offs on the commercial loan were a bankruptcy.
Thank you.
Yes, Councilor Calvin Watts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for the work on the cultural tourism businesses. It's in your report. Do we actively connect those cultural tourism businesses with our actual Cherokee Cultural Tourism Group at CNE? Do we try to work them in together?
No, at this point, we don't actively do that. We try to work them in with the community tourism, but we don't. That's something we can check into.
Okay, thank you. I would appreciate that connection. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions for Ann? Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Next is the Cherokee National Historical Society, Mr. Tilley.
Good afternoon. Good to see everybody again. I'm covering, this is a quarterly report. I've got a lot to cover, but it's mostly in my report, so I'm just going to hit a couple of highlights for you. There's been a lot of great things happening at the Heritage Center. We hit a 5-year high at the holiday this year, of over 11,000 folks on site. Ancient Cherokee Days was a record number with 1,300 school children on there over 2 days. Very proud of that. We've been rising every year since the MOA started back in 2005. Every year it's getting a little bit better. This year, the total number of people served is up 4% from last year. but that's up 66% from this time in 2006, which was the first year. So we're serving more and more people. On site alone, we were up 39% in visitation. But we're about a lot more than numbers. I know I've bragged to you about our outreach program before, which is headed by Gina Burnett. But I would like to say that just last month we were honored to receive the National Award of Merit from the American Association of State and Local History for that program at their national conference this year. So that was a pretty big honor. And one final thing, there's a whole lot, I hope y'all read the report about all the great things that are happening, but one final thing I do want to call your attention to is the ancient village. A lot of people since I've been here have been talking about the ancient village, and they remember what it was 30 years ago. Well, this year I'm proud to say that during our peak season, we had a total of 37 people dressed out in that village, 37 villagers in their costumes out in the village, and it was alive. It was going. And this was a combination of the workers we have through the MOA. We had seasonal workers paid through Historical Society money. We had some of the program workers that y'all talked about, work experience, summer youth, and the day workers. And all these people were either teaching or learning. And it was just great to see it this year. So I hope y'all will come and see. We've got some big plans for the Ancient Village, so come out and see us and talk over some of these, see some of the plans for the new village.
Councilor Calvin Watts.
Thank you. I saw the archives update, so can you try to give us the 1 to 2 minute where we at with tribal archives and what you got going on?
Man, we have so much going on behind the scenes with the archives, trying to upgrade our records keeping and our data entry. But the big move is we've moved the archives from the part of the building that gets water occasionally in the biggest storms 2 or 3 times a year to a part of the building that never gets water. That seems like a no-brainer type thing to do, but it just occurred to us after all these years. It occurred to us this year, and now we have the archives in a part of the building which, barring Noah's return, will stay dry. So we're very proud of that, and we're tweaking that as we go. We're trying to adhere to the standards put forth by the American Association of Museums, and it is a lot of work to do that, and it will be a long process, but we do feel like they're much more secure now than they've ever been, and including some security measures we're putting into place. So.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions for Mr. Kelly? Thanks very much.
I would like to say something on Mr. Tilley's behalf, because I didn't catch it until right at the time that we were having our community meeting, that he has offered to come to any councilman's community meeting and set up a booth and tell the members more about their about your operation. And I want to pre-invite you, whether I'm here or not, maybe the next time we have a meeting, I want you to come.
I would love to be there. I think we really need to reach out and show that we're here for the Cherokee people, and this is a great way to do it. So, thank you.
I appreciate you sending that email to us.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilor Fishing.
On November the 11th, which is Veterans Day, I think we're having one. We're just waiting for the confirmation of the building right now. It'll be we're celebrating the vets is what we're celebrating.
Oh, good.
We're going to honor them, and I do wish you would show up over in our district, which would be Adair and Delaware County.
Be glad to.
And since we're honoring the vets, if there's any way you could tailor your presentation or your booth to, I don't know, Indian Warriors War or something, that would be fitting for...
Can I follow up with you when
Yes,
we get some details? Okay. Good.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Okay.
Thanks very much, Gary.
That's it.
Next is Cherokee Nation Education Corporation, and there is a report that, did you hand out the report? It was received today and was passed out. Shelley Butler Allen was here to give the report, but unfortunately she had to leave. So, next are consent items. The first item on the consent items is the tarot certifications. And those are in your packet, and I would entertain a motion for their approval. Yes, Councilor Fitchcock.
Yes, there's one of them on here. I've already talked to John and Diane, and I sent an email to John, Diane Turtle, and Diane Kelly on it, but I wanted to check something out, so I was wanting to pull until next month, Advanced Work Phone Services, because they're supposed to be investigating it. But other than that, I make a motion for the approval of them all.
Approve them excluding that one.
Yeah.
item.
Diane Kelly was supposed to take it away.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next is the cemetery restoration assistance applications. And those have been passed out.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Next, law enforcement request. There are none. And, excuse me, Councilor Thorne.
I don't think we can hang that out until after January, the law enforcement request.
Right.
I don't think it needs to be on the agenda until
Okay.
at that time.
You make a note. Okay, thank you. Next is roads.
There was an amendment to the road report, Mr. Chairman, that was sent out in the packet. In addition to what you have in your packets, there was a Fairbarn Road out of Delaware County, Mr. Snell, Mr. Buzzard, for almost $40,000.
Is there a motion for the approval of the roads, including the new item?
Make a motion to approve.
Is there a second? Any discussion?
I would like to point out that me and Joe get to spend a little of our money.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Feels good, then.
Any other? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Old business, there are none pending. I believe I would entertain a motion to amend the agenda for consideration of some PAC contributions that we were not able to, when they were first brought to our attention, we were not able to set up a special PAC meeting because of the time limitations. But they actually would like to get them paid before the election. The motion's been made to amend. Do I hear a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Yes. Okay. Under new business, first is a budget mod 1, and Mr. Evans, which I believe you said there were no problems with this budget mod.
No, sir. No, we did get some $2.3 million of grants reported in this mod, with Department of Energy being the lion's share of that at almost 1.5. They're all award adjustments. One of them is almost $500,000 on a recycling facility, a refueling station, and then some economic stimulus funds of almost $600,000 for a refueling station number 2. But I could go through the mod in detail, or if you have any questions.
Entertain a motion for its approval.
Second.
Okay. Motion made, seconded by Councilor Kellen Watts.
I had two questions after reading it. What is going to be the total amount we spend on the vet center? How are we funding it? Will it be built in this year? I mean, there's still these outstanding questions. And then I have a contract health question.
I will attempt to tackle the questions on the Veteran Center. The $500,000 we carved out of the capital improvement reserve as sort of a contingency on this center. As I'm sure you're all aware, the idea behind this is that it will be a volunteer effort and a contributions effort. There are some fundraising efforts going on related to getting both materials and labor contributed to this project. I don't know what the time frame is on completing the project, but the whole concept of this Veterans Center was to get the veterans and the communities and everyone involved in making this a completely volunteer building.
2.3 was the estimate.
Yes, 2.3 is the estimated total cost of the building.
But only $500,000 is in the budget.
Right, and basically that's there in case, we get enough funds to get going and we don't quite have enough to finish. We've got some money there to finish it off. And there's going to be probably some areas where we're going to have to hire a licensed plumber or electrician to do some of the work.
Okay. Yes, Councilor Calhoun Watts.
On my first question, I still have, I guess, I think this project's extremely important. And I know, I guess we all agreed, made this commitment that it would be done privately for the most part on our tribal lands. From the feedback I'm getting, since we have not created a clear picture of what the overall cost is, so there is a financial goal for those that want to donate,
Okay.
and that we have not said, this is what the tribe is or is not going to do, and this is how much we need private individuals to step up for, how they might be acknowledged in that process. There doesn't seem to be a clear fundraising plan. People are frustrated.
Okay. I will take that feedback. There is a committee that is working on the project in terms of basically all phases of it. Phase 1 obviously has started because there's a little bit of activity going on over there. But I'll take that feedback back to the committee and ask them to put together maybe some better specifics.
Especially our at-large folks. I mean, I know that they seem to be demonized by this body, but they really want to try to contribute. So. Then the other question that I have is on the contract health. So we're going to increase the contract health, which I think is outstanding. I mean, we absolutely always pour money into this. So since my Rogers County Cherokees and other Cherokees and other communities around me are second-class citizens who have no access to those tribal monies, even though they're tribal citizens, in the jurisdictional service area, will they have access if they are denied by Indian Health Service contract health at Claremore to these monies? This affects several council people at the table.
This is actually IHS contract health money.
Okay.
And it is what's called, I know you've heard them refer to it as the CHEF funds. It's a reimbursement for catastrophic health emergency funds. So if you want to know specifically what areas.
Tied to it, then I understand then what it's.
It is IHS.
Thank you for answering my questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sure. Any other, Councilor Fishing.
Yeah, Kelly, I've talked to Rowan Ballinger before about the Veterans Center because the police folks donate the project manager to oversee the whole project, which I think is very generous considering he's been down here for the past close to a year and nothing's been done yet. Have we talked to the other contractors of ours that get a lot of our contracts? Perhaps they'd be interested in.
I know there was some activity, especially during the holiday, but I will just really need to get with that committee. I'm not involved in it on a day-to-day basis, but I'll get with that committee and ask them to maybe prepare a report for this council for the next meeting.
Like with the electricians and the plumbers.
Yeah,
and the other thing is, I talked to her about what you all budgeted at. And is it mine?
What?
Per foot?
The
curious
architect's estimate came in at approximately $2.3 million. That's if we Cherokee Nation paid for it start to finish. So that was like a year and a half ago. Hopefully that estimate is still good. And I don't have any current information on how many materials we've had donated or anything. So I really need to get the committee to prepare a summarized report for you.
Okay, because I would like on the per foot, because if I remember right, the per foot was like $250, $300 per foot.
Yeah,
the cost of it, well, hold on, because I'm talking to Robin, and I remember at the time we were talking, $150 per foot would have built a really nice place. So I was curious about why it was close to double. So could you look into that?
I'll ask them about the cost per square foot.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion on the budget mod? Yes.
I got a question to compare that to. Callie, in the meantime, would you please find out how much the warehouse at Hastings per foot is costing so I can compare it to this, please?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. On the budget mod, any questions or discussions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? One passed. Next are our packed items. I believe Ginger is here, and there's been a handout passed out.
Yes, I think everyone has copies.
So are there any questions, or you want to go down through them one at a time? Oh, Councilor Cobb, I'm sorry.
I'd like to add a name to this, if at all possible. From District, is that District 10, Steve Martin, for $1,000.
Second.
And he, just for the record, he is a Republican.
And
He's got one good thing going, he's Cherokee. He is a Cherokee citizen.
And we haven't maxed out the contributions to him, is that right?
We have not.
Okay. Okay, would you like to take these one at a time, or I'd entertain a motion for approval in total?
Move for approval in total.
second.
Okay, any questions or discussion? Any questions of Ginger? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay,
Abstain.
and one abstention. And motion carried.
Mr. Chair, if I could, since time is of the essence, if we are wanting to get this money to them before the election next Tuesday, I would like to have Ginger hand you the list to, sign that it was approved by the committee, just so we'll have some documentation to go with the check request. If that'll work.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody catch us.
Any? Someone said. All right. Okay. Are there any announcements?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.